Breaking news now at 7:43. Let's get right to our Erica Gonzalez in the newsroom listening to this major announcement being made by Cuba's president. Erica, what are you hearing?
Yeah, so Austin, I kind of want to explain to our viewers right now what's happening right now as we've been listening in for the last 14 minutes or so. Going into this, it was presented as this was going to be an announcement from the Cuban government, specifically from the president, Miguel Diaz-Canel, who you see speaking right there. And this is live right now. And so what this has essentially been, it's a back and forth between the president and journalists who are in the room, Cuban press who are there, and they've been asking the president certain questions. There was no major headline that he gave at the beginning of this, but here is what he has said so far, and there is some significance to this, Austin. He has told the room there that he is speaking to, the group of reporters, that there is dialogue that is going on between Cuba and the U.S. He's also said that they have had conversations with a representative of the U.S. government regarding differences between the two countries, and this is significant, Austin, because this would essentially be the first time within the last few months that the Cuban government has come out and officially said that they are in communication with the United States. Because if you remember, our reporting up until this point is essentially since January, what we have been seeing is that we've been hearing from the U.S. and we've been hearing reports that indicate that Marco Rubio and his team members have been speaking to members of the Cuban government, not specifically the president, Diaz-Canel. And so what we're seeing now is a shift in the dynamic here. And what we're seeing is now the Cuban government saying, yes, those conversations are in fact happening. And this comes with the backdrop of learning that Cuba is also going to be releasing 51 prisoners. Of course, we have questions about who those prisoners are, when that's going to happen, and is there more to come. And this also comes, as we're learning, that comes after talks that they have been having with the Vatican. So just to bring our viewers up to speed, because there's a lot of moving parts here. What we're learning right now from the Cuban government, from the words of the president himself, is he is confirming that they are in talks with the United States. And we know that there is a deepening crisis in Cuba happening right now on the island when it comes to the fuel shortages that they've been saying. There's a major energy crisis there. We've been reporting for months now and weeks that there are rolling power outages. I should say blackouts is the word I was trying to use there. And so it's a huge impact to the day-to-day life of the Cubans there on the island right now. We also know that there's a huge crisis when it comes to food and availability for individuals on the island. Medicine's also been extremely hard to come by. And so what we've also seen is that the oil crisis is not getting any better. There is no lifeline for the people in Cuba right now. So let's just take you back for a moment here. At the beginning of the year, Austin, you will remember the major breaking news that we saw, which was when the United States captured the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. Following that, what we saw was President Trump essentially creating a situation where Venezuela could no longer funnel fuel into Cuba. And then following that, at the end of January, we saw President Trump come out and declare Cuba as a national security threat. And from that, he essentially started that oil blockade. And since then, we have seen no oil go and flow into Cuba, deepening the energy crisis that we have seen. So we haven't seen an improvement on the island whatsoever, but we are now seeing movement toward potential changes coming to the island, as we are now hearing the Cuban government confirm that they are in talks with the United States. We're going to continue to listen back in, see what else we can decipher from what he's saying so far and from the questions that he's getting from journalists. So Austin, just check back in with me in the next few minutes and hopefully we'll have an update for you.
Yeah, Erica, definitely. And as we've been mentioning there, and you were talking about some of those blackouts and some of the turmoil because of them not having these critical oil shipments, they have such a crumbling electrical grid. And we've heard so many times, we've had several reports about these blackouts. In fact, there have been several so far this year. One as recently as last week, and we're talking about not a couple of people without power. We're talking millions, especially in Western Cuba, without power here. So you've got to imagine this is putting a lot of pressure on Cuba's government to make a decision to act on this and acknowledge what the U.S. is doing in terms of these conversations because of those blackouts.
Right, Austin. And like I said, it's significant in the fact that they are now acknowledging that they're working with the U.S. and telling the Cuban people may perhaps signaling that there could be some changes on the horizon. The fact that they're releasing 51 prisoners, obviously we're trying to figure out exactly what he's saying. So Austin, let me check back in with you in the next few minutes to see if there's any other mentioning of anything significant that he said in the last few minutes.
Okay, Erica, thanks so much for keeping us updated. And keep it right here on air and online at cbsmiami.com for the very latest on the crisis in Cuba.